champion. Welcome to class. Today we are going to be learning interesting topics titled Will It Float and Little Drops of Water. So now let's go to our lesson proper. Will it float? Have you ever seen any substance floating before? Can you name some examples of those objects which float on top water? So what are floating objects? Floating objects are light objects that will float or stay on top of the surface of water. So they are objects that are less dense than water, and so because they are light in weight, they stay on top water. Yes, these are called what? Floating objects. Say it after me. Floating object. Examples of floating objects include a leaf. Yes, a leaf will stay on top water. Also with a toy boat, a rubber duck. You can name them rubber spoon, rubber cup, then nylon, your paper, your book. They are light in weight and so they stay on top water. Your tennis ball also, they are floating objects. Your rubber tennis ball, then your ice cube. When you put ice cube in water, it melts and goes there. Then plastic can too also floats on top water. Now, sinking objects. Sinking objects are heavy objects that sink or go deep in water. So when you put them on the surface of water, they just go down, and so they are called sinking objects. So they are denser than water. So denser than water because they are heavy. So what can we see in this picture? What's this? This is a cup of water. And what's inside? This is not a paper that's inside. This is a coin. A coin is heavy. And so it is a sinking object. So examples of sinking objects, we have coin, we have stones, we have metallic spoon. So we should call your highest one metallic spoon. They are sinking objects. We also have bricks, we have keys, we have screw, hammer, you can name it. Yeah. So these are what sinking objects. Now let's go to another topic titled Little Drops of Water, Little Drops of Water, Little Drops of Water. Do you know that little drops of water makes an ocean? Yes. So when you pour yourself a glass of water and take a sip, do you know that the water you have just swallowed is the same water that the first humans drank? Yes, it is. That's because Earth has been recycling water over 4 billion years throughout the water cycle. Yes. What's water cycle? The water cycle is the movement of water around the Earth. For example, you can see in this water cycle, we have the condensation, precipitation, collection, and evaporation. So, and you can see we have water in all water bodies like the river, the stream. So when it hits the rivers, it evaporates and form heavy clouds in the atmosphere. So when it evaporates and forms clouds in the atmosphere, at a time it becomes so heavy and dense. So it condenses and fall back as what? Rain. And now you can collect the water for all the purposes at home, like washing of plate and washing of clothes and other things, which water is useful to every one of us at home. So this is what we call water cycle. So water cycle is the movement of water around the earth. So the process where water gets moves around to cycle, it moves in the circular path. Yes. So this is water cycle. Now evaporation. Energy from the sun heats up the surface of the water, causing the temperature of the water in our rivers, lakes, ocean to rise. And so when this happens, some of the water evaporates into the air, turning into a gas called vapor. Vapor. Evaporation is when water turns into gas. So it can be water or liquid. So when liquid turns into gas, vapor causes what? Evaporation. So condensation. So as water vapor rises up high into the sky, it cools and turns back into a liquid form, forming cloud. This process is called condensation. Say it after me. Condensation. Then Precipitation is when too much water has condensed. The water drops in the cloud becomes too big and heavy for the air to hold them. So precipitation. So when too much water has condensed, the water drops in the cloud becomes too big and heavy for the air to hold them. And so they fall back down to the earth as rain, snow, hail, or sleet, and process known as precipitation. So this is what we call precipitation. Now let's move to the next one, collection. Some of this precipitation will fall directly into lakes, rivers, or the sea from where it will evaporate and begin to cycle all over and all over and all over again. So others will go down to the earth crust and become underground water. So underground water can be water where we get our borehole, a river, your stream, ocean, etc. So, do you know why water drops forms on the body of a glass of cup of water? For example, you get a glass of cold water. You notice that you see droplets of water on the surface of the water of the glass cup. Do you know why? This is because the air around the cup becomes cold and condenses. So the little drops of water on the glass cup comes from the air. The little water from the glass cup comes from the hair. Yes, it comes from the hair. You can see this baby in the picture. She's drinking water, cold water, and you can see the surface, the outer surface of the glass cup having droplets of water. Yes, because the air around the cup becomes so cold and condenses, and so the little drops of water on the glass cup comes from the hair.